So talking about inspiration, my inspiration for the barks was really sitting, being a bit fed up, not knowing quite what I was going to do next. And I looked in the log basket and there I saw these amazing pieces. And I just thought, oh, they would make a good pot. And it set me off on a journey to see what I could do. So
They are beautiful.
they're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Surfaces are incredible.
Yeah. And I really wanted to try and capture that rather than making a tree piece. So I wanted to capture this sort of broken, gnarly thing, and that's really, you know, the journey that I went on. But yours was slightly different, wasn't it? Your particular.
Well, yes, because mine started on a beach, and it was a tennis ball, a totally empty beach, abandoned tennis ball that had rolled along the sand, and there was a trail it had left, and then there was a ring of sand around the ball. And I just thought of traces and what we leave when we walk somewhere and what's left on us when we've been somewhere. And so that started that whole thing about memory and capturing the moment of being in a place and trying to identify what it is that you remember about that day and what you were saying and what you were thinking and feeling at that time. So it's that kind of memory and place thing that comes together, I think. Yeah, and ripples on the sand as well. I love those. Yeah, which again are always different every time you go.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And your wonderful animals, your guinea fowl, they're always different as well, aren't they? I mean, I love the expression on that one. It's amazing.
Well, it's all part to me that inspires me, because when I first, it's usually when I see something totally unexpectedly, and it just appeals, the shape and the proportions, but also the attitude. And when I saw this guinea fowl march across the road, it just caught me. I thought, I've just got to make one. And then it's the markings as well, not necessarily the colour, but the markings on this. I have such wonderful feathers in my dogs. Yeah, set me off.
So it's interesting that actually, although each of us has a different source of inspiration, they're all really from unexpected, you know, coming across something unexpectedly that you weren't really thinking of and that you weren't even necessarily thinking would turn into something you could make.
No, it wasn't looking for inspiration, was it?
Not at all. Not at all.
It just
not
springs
from an
itself
exhibition
on you.
or anything. It's something totally surprising, but really hits home, doesn't it? Something you really feel strongly about.
Because actually, if you think about it too hard, you can't get inspiration, can you? It has to almost just come as a light bulb moment, I think.
Yes. I mean, what you do with it afterwards and how you develop it, that's a bit more considered, isn't it? But the initial spark that sets you off on a journey, that's unexpected.
And then you have to think about what actually inspired you about it. For me, it's always the form and the proportions, and you're the surface very much.
The surface and, it is form. I don't think it's proportions, because there's no way that you can say, for example, that that's proportionate. It's really much more to do with the texture and the form and the idea behind it. So the flaky gnarliness of the bark is really what I'm trying to get in here. So it's not a perfect proportionate formal replica.
I'm trying to get shadows often, actually. So ripples in the sand and words and casting a shadow. And again, I use handwriting because it's different every time, and the shadows that you get from it are quite something, and I quite like not being able to read it.
Absolutely.
That you have to think about it quite hard or peer quite hard at it.
And also, presumably, the shadows change depending on the time of day and the weather and things like that.
It's always intriguing, aren't they?
Yes, because every time the light moves, then the shadow moves. So it's not a constant thing. That's what I quite like about it.
So with the sand changing and the shadows changing.